Hello and welcome to my Vaporwave tutorial for casting Bordeaux. And what we're going to do is take a look at the samples, then we're going to construct the samples into the casting song, and then we're going to take a look at the different sounds and effects used, and then we'll put it all together. So starting out, we've got this song, Chante More, Finding My Way Back to You, and we're going to take the first part of this and use it as the main loop. So here it goes. So that's most of the song. And we're also going to take Earth, Wind, and Fire's Anything You Want, and we're going to grab this part of it. So we'll use that a lot, and then we'll also use this. So yeah, we're grabbing this at the middle of the song. If you ever want to look at any of the timestamps, they're down here in the lower left of the screen. And so here's what this was again. Every time you talk about it, you never know. And that's what we'll use from this song. So now that we've got the samples, let's go ahead with the construction of the samples. And starting out with the casting song, we're actually going to start off with a little bit of white noise. So I've got a white noise generator here. And what I'm going to do with that is first turn up the high end of it so it sounds like cassette tape hiss. And then I'm going to use a compressor on this and sidechain it to everything else that's going on in the song. I think particularly the drums. Yeah, we've got the drums here and then the sidechain to this compressor. So here's what it sounds like. And so you can hear the white noise pumping up and down with the drums. So here it is again. Let's just turn on the drums. And then with the rest of it. So that's how the intro goes. Now, there are some sample chops in there that I don't quite know what's going on, but here's the original. So yeah, that's everything that's going on in the casting version. So I haven't quite figured out all of that, but I got the majority of it. So that's why I made this video. We'll go ahead and go on to the rest of this. And here is the main loop. So yeah, we've got the main loop from the Finding My Way Back to You, and then I've got some drums in here as well. Now, they're pretty basic. I'm not very good at drum programming, but here's what we got. I'm using Studio One. I am using Studio 1.7, but here within this, I've got Superior Drummer, and I've got a few drums that I'm going to use, and they'll light up as they go along. So part of the snare sound that I've got it pitched down just a little bit. And then I've also got this tom that I'm using along with it. And I've got that pitched down a little bit as well. And then within the snare, I've got a little bit of EQ to boost the low mids of it and really get that low end sound to the snare. So here's the snare by itself. And if we were to turn this off, bypass. So there's a lot more high end there, and we're going to bypass that by turning on a high cut filter and then also with the low mid boost there. I've also got a noise gate on it. So whenever the gate, whenever sound passes through the gate, this determines how quickly that gate closes. So it'll kind of cut off the snare sound mid sound. So let's go ahead and bypass this. And here's what it sounds like originally. So you can hear there's a really long tail on there. Now if we turn the gate back on, here's what it sounds like. So yeah, we can make that snare sound shorter, a little bit longer, and that's what the gate does. So I've also got this tom going on along with the snare drum, and here's what it sounds like. If I don't hit the hi-hat, there we go. So put that with the snare. And then everything together. I've got this kick drum in there too. So that's the basic drums that I've got. And like I said before, I've got a compressor going on with the rest of the sound that whenever the drums play, it'll really, I've got the drums turned up pretty loud, and then it'll compress the rest of the audio and turn it down whenever the drums hit. So here's what that sounds like. So yeah, you can play with the amount of that. Really change that sound. And let's see here. Something back here that I used that I forgot to talk about. There's that, I think it's a triangle. It's from the 808 drum machine. And yeah, it's from a TR-808, the Roland drum machine. So yeah, back here in the intro, sorry to rewind on you, but here's what that sounds like. And then going forward, we've got a lot of this main loop again. So we've got that going. And then the third time around, we've added in this little Earth, Wind, and Fire sample. And I've got this process quite a bit to roll off the low end and then boost these high mids here between 1 to 3K roughly. And that gives it a really, just kind of allows it to fill into the background. So here's what it sounds like. So it's a nice little spice to add in there. And then the next part of the song, we're going to use that other sample of Earth, Wind, and Fire, this part. And right here, there's this little bit of a jump. Yeah, it just kind of jumps a little bit just for a glitchy effect. So... and then here we've got this really interesting sound. Here's the original. Now I'm going to try to recreate that the best I can, Basically what's going on is that the song is speeding up and slowing down repeatedly. Kind of sounds like a tape machine going out. And I'll go into how I made this sound. So not exactly the same, but we'll get close enough. How I've got that is, so there's the sample, and then I've got some pretty heavy chorus on it, but here's without it. And I took that and time stretched it to where it's a lot slower than the original. And then here's the chorus back on it. The chorus has a lot of delay. The LFO speed's pretty high. The depth is 100%. And that's how that's built. So it gives it that wobbly sound with audio. And then once I loaded that into this instrument, what I did was I did a pitch bend. And you can just kind of play around with this, however sounds best to you. But you can take the pitch up and down and give it that wavy sound. So it's something like that. Either there's like a tape stop effect that was used, something that replicates a tape going out. That's really the majority of the song construction. As it goes on, it just repeats the same thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here we got it all together. And then we'll jump ahead here a little bit. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.